Welcome to our weekly Q&A show where we answer submitted questions live on YouTube on Tuesdays at 2 p.m.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday Q&A show. This is where I answer questions I received through the week. I love getting these questions from Whitewater Guidebook. So if you want to ask a question for the show, thank you, everybody. You just went to Whitewater Guidebook, hit the Gear Garage tab, ask a question. We have tons of questions, so I'm just going to kind of get right into it and see how many we can get through today. The first one is, do you have any experience or information on this PFD, the Canyon, Stolquist Canyon? I feel like I heard that name, Stolquist Canyon, and I feel like they made one 5 years ago. It's not the one they have now. So I have it ready to go. This is it. It has a back pillow. This to me looks like just a regular vest for a commercial passenger, which it is, it's still a great vest. It looks comfortable. It has lots of flotation. I'm guessing, I haven't looked at it. I'm guessing it has 23 pounds. It says here 20 to 26. That's interesting. But it has flotation. It's probably fine to row in. It's probably smart to row in. The downsides are it's not going to be as comfortable as other PFDs. It's just not. It's bulkier. And there's no pocket. There's a place to put a knife, that little tab, although I'm not a fan of external knives, but there's a couple tabs. And there's the neck pillow, which I don't think are even that useful anyway, having a little neck pillow for flotation. So it says extremely low profile, high mobility vest that offers big buoyancy for big water. I bet it'd be fine. I'm not going to row with this PFD because I'd like to have pockets to store safety gear and just stuff that I have with me. And the neck pillow just is going to annoy me. There's a photo of the back of the neck pillow. I think with the neck pillows, they just were on PFDs from a long time ago, and they've kept them on. And they're a way to add extra flotation without adding it around the outside. But when you're actually underwater, if you're 10 feet deep, that neck pillow probably helps. But in general, I don't think it helps. I have this theory that we shouldn't have neck pillows on PFDs, and it's just something that's been done because it's always been done and nobody's really thought it through. So those are my thoughts on the Canyon. I would go, if you're looking for a comfortable PFD to go with, I'd go with the NRS, what's it called? High Water Guide PFD. I can't think of anything better than this PFD for rowing. It's not perfect. We talked about this a bunch on the show. It at least has pockets. It's comfortable. I have one. The only thing I don't like it is that it has, let me open this up here. Make myself big. It has little side pockets here that the oar sometimes catches when it comes forward. It's hard to tell where they are at. I'll bring this back up. You can't really see them. But right here, I think you can see where my cursor is. And right here, there's like little hand warmer pockets. And when you're rowing, sometimes the oar comes up, it gets caught in that pocket. That's a big downside for this PFD. But other than that, I think this is, if you want flotation, this is the best flotation PFD you can get out there. Okay, moving on. Hope that helps. Zach, loved the show. Really liked when you had guest host join you if Aaron won't be on every show. Really liked when you had a guest host join if you had Aaron. That sentence doesn't make sense, but it's fine. How about having different guests from around the country who can provide different insight now and again? I'd like that. Right now, I'm just answering questions. This isn't really even a show. This is just me answering questions I get through the week. There's no Friday show anymore. We're taking a break from it, partially because I'm really busy, partially because I just wasn't having fun with it. And so in the fall, when my life slows down, I'll probably do more types of shows. The show I really want to do in the future is called Cool Friends. I did one with Matt Cronin like a month ago, where I just invite a cool friend on and we just talk for half an hour. And then keeping it short to half an hour and just like interviewing somebody who's cool for half an hour would be cool. Maybe asking every guest the same questions like, do you have pins and clips and door locks? What PFD do you use? Maybe just sort of getting some insights from a variety of people. So I think I'll do the Cool Friends show. I don't know if we're going to host shows. I realized with Aaron, and having Steve on and Dougie, we kind of need a moderator. It just really isn't that good without a moderator. It's just us talking over each other, and I don't think it's an effective use of anybody's time. So I don't know. I think different guests would be cool, and I have plans in the fall. I'm just super busy. I'm going to travel for the next 3.5 weeks, so next 3.5 weeks there won't be many shows. But after that, I'll probably have time and we'll get creative. But thanks for the suggestion. Okay, I'd love to have you do a full episode with video on ramp etiquette, tips and tricks for efficiency, stay hydrated, scene safety, comms, blah, blah, blah. You know, ramps are something I'm afraid to take on. It's sort of like camping on the road. There's a lot of deep-seated opinions, a lot of them very wrong. And, you know, if I did a video about ramps, I would just get roasted. And I feel like I have very astute observations to make on the topic of ramps. I was at a ramp 3 days ago where a commercial company blocked half the ramp and their boats weren't even there. So like I get the ramps are a pain. And I contacted the outfitter and told them what they were doing because they probably didn't know. But like, and I've seen privates do insanely not smart things at ramps. The big thing this year was, when I got to Boundary Creek, a private boaters left their boats on the one ramp, the one spot you have to access the river, and they left. They went away. I had to go find them to ask them to move their boat. So I think, just to sum up, without me doing a whole episode, I don't want to touch this topic, honestly, because I would just get destroyed. But it's just be nice. It's just really nice. Like, just be a good person. And be respectful of others. Be thoughtful. Don't be selfish. It's that simple. Like, be considerate of others. That's all. Honestly, if I did a whole episode about ramps, I'd be like, be a nice, unselfish person. And there are selfish and unselfish outfitters and guides, and there are selfish and unselfish private boaters. And that's just the reality. Just be nice. And realize that some people are not good people and they're not nice people. And when they're not nice, just take a deep breath and be like, yep, that's what a bad person looks like. But we're going to try to be nice. The other thing I would suggestion I would make to all boaters is try to figure out when everybody gets there and don't go there then. Right? What time does everybody normally take out at this river? Oh, really? 11? Maybe try 3 p.m. Like, just change your schedule. If you're doing a 6-day metaphor trip, you know, and thinking about doing a 7-day, just do a 6-day and take off on your last day at 5 p.m. There will be nobody there. I know may not be what you want, but, you know, for whatever reason, everybody chooses the same 1.5 hour period to take out. So yeah, it sucks. It's a bad, yeah. Especially on multi-days. We spend so much time at put-ins and takeouts, especially on multi-days. It's a bummer. And ramps could be better if they were better managed by the agencies too. You know, a lot of these ramps, the agencies are never there. They don't care. They could do a lot of things to make them better. They could have better communication. They could have signs that explain what to do. So this would be a good thing to contact the agencies who manage the river and say, hey, would you guys do something? Because your absence and lack of information is making things worse. All right, ramps. Another thought would be to publish a table of contents by episode, etc., of the content you've already made. We'll try to find if you've already discussed ramps. We've discussed. I've never done a show about ramps. I do not want to do a show. I will get destroyed in the comments. I'm not going to do it. We've talked about it in these live shows a bunch, off and on, and the answer is just be nice. On the topic of having a table of contents, it's something I'm probably not going to do. I have enough projects in my life to go through all my videos and make a table of contents. But we do have, and that's kind of why, and I put one of the things I have to do with my time is I work on our online rowing school. But just to like plug this for a second, I have all the Gear Garage videos, how to catch an eddy, how to pull versus push, oars and locks versus pins and clips, whatever they are, what knife to use. By the way, this Gerber I have right here, this folder in your PFD, this Gerber is the best knife for your money. I think it's just a money knife. I could do a whole show about this knife. And I could do a whole show about how terrible the NRS knives are. Please do not buy an NRS knife. If you have an NRS knife, get rid of it. All it does is, I'm not going to go on this aside right now. But anyway, this we had this. It's at Whitewater Education. We have this online rowing course, and we have a ton of shows. These are Beyond the Gear Garage episodes. Like I have done a whole bunch of shows, and this is why I've spent my time on building this instead of cataloging all my YouTube shows and everything. You know, if somebody wants to catalog the YouTube shows, please do it. But it's all cataloged here. This is where I spend my time, like organizing all the things I think are important for rowing. And there's a rescue part of this. There's a different part. And so I'm going to spend my free time building this out and making this better because this is, you know, I make money from this. I mean, it pays the bills. And I put a lot of time and energy. You can see so many things here. You know, and some of these things are really long and thought out. Like some of these have a free preview, but a bunch of these are multiple videos of information about river signals and a lot of stuff on river. So there's just so much here. And I'm still adding stuff. So to answer this question, instead of me cataloging everything, I'm going to make better videos for the online course. And some of these are free. So if you want more videos and you want to see what's here, like there are some really cool free videos up here too. Okay. I'm going to move back to here and move on. July Middle Fork trip. Happy, great morning. Just finished my Middle Fork video. 1.9 feet, boat bumping, wrapped rock and chutes, but wasn't stuck. I'm running an 18-foot Cougar with 11-foot oars. Next low water trip, I'll have shorter oars. I'd love to hear your roast or thoughts on this trip video. Man, I quickly looked at your video. We're going to throw it up here. Let's see if I can get rid of this. Let's go back to here. And then we're going to go to the video. I'm not going to do a full video review, everyone. But let's look at this and talk about it. And see how he does. And first of all, I think these 18-foot oars are appropriate. No, actually, an 18-foot boat typically means 11-foot oars. And if you can handle, turn the volume down. If you can handle the length of oar, that's the oar you want. And I see your oars are bending too, like they have a lot of flex. I wouldn't personally be into the oar flex, but I'm going to shoot for the 11-foot oars. I'm going to work on good oar management so I can run 11-foot oars. Look at that ship. That's a great ship. It seems like you're doing fine. If you go shorter, what's going to happen is instead of your hands being here, one of two things is going to happen. You're going to go like this, which is not good because you don't get much power and your shoulders are exposed to an injury. Or because they're shorter, it takes more to reach the water. You're going to be doing this. And this is not as strong as this. Like where it looks like where you're pushing and pulling is like, you know, in line with the shoulders, doing a push up. And so having the right length of oars allows you to push like this and pull like this, which is where you're strong. If you're up or out, you're less efficient. So I'd stick with your 11s personally. But I'd switch, if it was me, I'd switch out these catarafts, switch off these cataracts and go with a stiffer Sawyer MXG. This is good boating right here. I would just love to see some shipping there, but whatever, fine. You could have shipped the oars there, but whatever. The other thing is, I think that you asked me to roast you. I'm not going to roast you. I'm just going to like tell you what I think. That cooler there, I'm not stoked on that because that's, if your hands go forward, you can hit your hand between. It's a hard cooler in the oar, so that seems like a place to get hurt. I try to push that cooler forward if I could, or turn it sideways. Looks like you have room to turn it sideways. I'm sure you did fine, but like, I don't like a hard thing like that in front of me if I can avoid it. But yeah, this looks good, like good rowing. It looks like, I mean, this is what an 18-foot boat on the upper Middle Fork looks like. Seems pretty solid to me. And going back to your oar length, I would say, see the great ship. Ship both oars, ship blades forward, shipped correctly. I mean, that was great. This downstream oar makes me nervous. Your oars, you know, hopefully you're keeping it shallow. That's a little deep for a downstream oar. Keep that oar out of the water when you're sideways. But this is looking really good. So those are my quick thoughts. Seeing what I see. Get stuck on a rock, but you just spin off. And I would keep the spin going, which looks like you did. This is fine. adjusting, going through backwards. Oh, this is a capo. I just realized. Huh, that's cool. We'll keep watching. I'm gonna answer these thoughts about fork Gerbers because yeah, it's a sweet knife. It's solid. Gerber better than the Salt. The Salt 2 is better. Yeah, the Salt 2. The I'm gonna look it up while we're watching this. Spyderco Salt 2. I'm looking it up separately here. It's $147. Where the Gerber Easy Out Rescue is, I'm just going to Gerber. It used to be $30. It's $51. So we're talking basically 50 versus 150 bucks. So I'm going to say the Gerber is the best knife for your money. 50 bucks. It's awesome. This is a different Spyderco right here. 150 bucks. It's slightly better. It's not 3 times better. It's probably 50% better. But for the price, this can't go wrong with this. This Gerber Easy Out. Submit a couple questions for the past 2 shows. Maybe it didn't go through. No, Brad, dude, it didn't go through. I would have seen it. So just submit it right now. Give me the question right now and I'll get to it. I don't know why it wouldn't have gone through. Other people's go through. You have to hit the submit button at the bottom. But yeah, just ask it right now. I'm happy to answer the question now. Ooh, that was fine. Let's go back. I wasn't watching there. This is a tough rapid at low water. We're going, here we're at this one right here is tricky. We're just past TP hole. At lower water, these rocks right in front of you get really shallow. So I love your setup, the double ship. I would have done a single ship and used one oar to kind of like get your boat straight. At the last minute, done that double ship. But this all looks sweet. Oh, going back to your oar length. I'd say to get the oar length right, take the distance between your oar locks and multiply by 1.63. I'm guessing, just by like taking a quick look at your boat, maybe it's 10 and a half. Maybe. But yeah, let's go ahead a little bit more so we can find something exciting. Here, this is good. This is sulfur slide. I think I saw this earlier. Let's get ahead here. Yeah, we're going to sulfur slide. And the line here is left. Looks like you're going middle. So maybe you don't. I watched that downstream oar, man. That number one rule, that downstream oar. Oh, that was a symbol for wrap. I'm not sure if that's your wrapped or somebody else's wrapped. And maybe you got stuck on purpose so that you didn't run into that person in the green. But the line here is left. And so it looks like the boat in front of you didn't go left. And I don't know what you did. And knowing the line here, especially low water, is either reading, maybe it's a Matt Latiker's book, which I see in front of you, that book right there, or just reading water, but it's definitely a left line. Let's see what happens. You're going for the bump. Nice. Looks like you went left. You got him off to the right. There is a log on the. This rapid is gone now, so it doesn't matter. This rapid is the whole right side had a landslide. Watch that downstream oar. That oar scares me. That's how you break oars. How you get hurt. That's a nice bump. Yeah, whoever submitted this question, I think you're doing great. If I had to add anything, it's tiny, tiny, tiny things. Oh, it's casual. Here we are. This is Velvet, which is gone now. That left, the rock on the left right now, for those who don't know, the landslide is up against that rock, and the river is now going left of that rock. So that big rock right there on the left, the whole river is going to the left, and all of this we're seeing here is under sediment. That creek we just saw to the right is what slid. Let's go back because it's kind of cool. You can see it. Forward a little bit. That creek right there, see it front right, there's a creek coming in. That's what blue and just filled this whole thing with sediment. So we may never see this version of the falls again. But yeah, I don't know. This looks like good boating to me. Okay, I'm going to answer Brad's questions while I watch my video. What advice would you give to give to a couple that are brand new to the sport? The wife and I just bought a 10.5 RMR. We're looking to do day and small overnight trips. We're a 1 hour drive from the Locksaw, Selway, and Lower Salmon. We've taken the boat on our normal tube float route to familiarize ourselves with the basic workings of it. How do we get started on more advanced rivers? I'm going to say, first of all, a 10.5 RMR. Oh, interesting. Where are we? Is this? I wasn't paying attention. Is this the chutes? That downstream more, man. You got to watch that downstream more. Nope, you don't get to use that right or when you're sideways. This is the one thing you got to work on. You cannot use those downstream motors, and you've gotten lucky so far, but you're gonna break an oar / take an oar to the head someday doing what you're doing. So I would, when you're sideways, you don't get to use it, and that needed to be a right ship. I'm not sure what's going on here. You could have gone left there. I take a sweep boat left there. I don't know why you tried so hard to get right. I'm gonna say, nice job. Your stuff's tied down really nicely. I like that. I'd also ditch those NRS flip straps, those little flip bags, the things dangling in the water right now, and get yourself a flip line. But yeah, I mean, I'd say, I'm gonna say this last time probably. You're boating great. You gotta learn how to boat without your downstream oar, because that's gonna hurt. That might hurt you someday, and at a minimum, it'll break an oar. Okay, going back to Brad, a 10.5 RMR. It's a cool boat. You're limited by that boat. I know people love their 10 to 11 foot boats, but if you want to do overnight trips, you're gonna have to get a bigger boat, something you can row. I mean, you can go backpack style, super minimal with that, but that's a good warm up boat. But it's gonna be hard to do overnight trips, and it's possible. I'm just gonna say it's hard. Taking our boat on a normal tube float. How do we get started on more advanced rivers? You just practice class 3 moves in class 2 rivers. You get started by don't just get down the river, style it, catch every eddy, surf waves, make really difficult moves, make up more difficult challenges. If you're just getting down a class 2 and bumping into things, you're not ready. If you're styling it, catching eddies, you're ready. In class 3, same thing. Once you're not just getting down the rapid, but you can put yourself wherever you want, catch every eddy, do everything, then maybe you're ready for class 4. You also need friends, especially with class 4. I can see I'm going ahead to the next question. I know I'm not jumping into class 4. I know just jumping into class 4 isn't a good idea. Any advice to safely get our feet wet? Yeah, so then friends. So just practice, pulling, pushing, downstream ferrying back and forth across the river, catch all kinds of eddies. Just own the river and just play your way down. Don't just make it down and celebrate. Play your way down, goof off, try things out, get stuck, get unstuck. Getting stuck in class 2 and 3 is how you deal with getting stuck in class 3 and 4. Get stuck, get unstuck, do all the stuff, and then you need friends. If you're gonna go do class 4, you can't just go by yourself. You need to develop a team. So, oh yeah, this is lower chutes rapid is brutal. And the cat, I think he's gonna be okay, but it's brutal. But yeah, just you need a team. You need some friends, and just be a nice person, meet some other boaters, and as a group, learn how to look out for each other, and then go advance that way. So hopefully that gives you some answers. I get this question a lot. I think I have several videos about how to step up into more difficult runs. There's a whole how to be a class 2 boater, how to be a class 3 boater, how to be a class 4 boater series somewhere on the channel. I'm not sad. Sulfur's gonna be yeah. It's kind of fun that it's all gonna be different. You can. I'm not saying you could use it carefully when needed, but some of these are not careful. When I'm watching here, Sean, some of these are not careful, and you want to learn how to boat without your downstream oar. You can do it. You can run all these rivers and not use dance anymore. So occasionally throwing one in where you're like right now he's on top of the surface of the water mostly, but when it goes deep in the water, you gotta be careful. And so and making it okay, if I say, hey, that's all fine, you'll use it more. If I say it's not fine, you'll do it less. Our goal is to try not to use your dance anymore at all. And if we do, we're very cautious about it and very nervous. You have to choose your place, that's for sure. To put your blade, that's for sure. Buddy rocks a 9.5 air on overnighters, but his backpack style and can't contribute to the group here. Yeah. That's like all the people that bring the little 9-foot boats, they can't carry the stove or the water, or they're just like, I'm here boating by myself. And the people, the 13s, are loaded down because they have room for all the stuff. So you're gonna need a bigger boat. Yeah, Brad, hopefully I helped answer your question. Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's a lot, I'm sure there's more things you could do, but those are the big ones. All right, let's go back to answering questions. Thank you for submitting this video. That was cool. All right, we just bought a Highside Pro 15 with a DRE 4-bay double rail frame. With the normal configuration, the oar locks are the width of the boat. I'm worried about bumping rocks. Is this okay? You know, I want my oar locks a little narrower than the width of the boat, but as long as they're not wider than the boat, I think you're okay. Yeah, I mean, you could hit a rock still. You could, a wall could be overhanging and you could come into it and you could hit your oar tower. But as long as your oar towers aren't outside the tubes, you're generally going to be fine. Now, again, I'd like mine to be in a little bit so I have a little cushion room, but that's just me. I was thinking about flipping oar tower mounts to the inside for extra clearance. I think I know what you're talking about. It's going to change your whole flipping the oar tower mounts to the inside. Oh, is this the inside rail, but not flipped? So when I first read this, it's displayed like this. When I say flipped, I take it as this. I wouldn't do that. But if you're moving from one rail to the inside rail, I might consider that. And if you bought your oars from DRE, I've noticed the people that buy their stuff from DRE, their oars are too short. And so you might have the right size oars if you do that. But when you move your oar mounts in, that's going to change your oar length too. And so you got to be careful. But if your oars are already too short, you might be perfect. But without seeing a photo, I don't know what a DRE 4-bay double rail frame looks like. Without seeing a photo, it's hard to give much better advice than that. Stock thinking of a 12-degree tilt. Should I match that, or can the oar towers be straight up and down? Yeah, the oar towers can be up and down. Actually, I personally think the oar locks should be vertical, that they shouldn't be splayed out. This is controversial, for sure. My opinion here is controversial, but like I like them straight up and down. But if they're out a little bit, that's fine too. 12 degrees is nothing. But so they can be 0-degree tilt seems fine. Perpendicular raft tube seems fine. Maybe somebody has some better knowledge here, but about how to handle oar tower angles, but anywhere between 0 and 20 is probably fine. Head out to 2050 Rocks Labyrinth Suite. Yeah, man. Oar frames, tinkering with oar frames is tough. There's a lot of weird geometry out there. That's for sure. Hopefully that helps. Craig, I'm looking to run the Illinois River. What is the optimal flow for a first run? Man, 1,000 to 1,300, I'd say, is pretty optimal. It's probably good first level. It's hard to find it though. It's hard. If you want to go do the Illinois, you're like, hey, I want to go do it. Let's go next weekend. And you think it's going to be 1,200 and ends up being 1,600 or 700. You can't be too picky. I mean, you got to be picky somewhat, but if you're able to leave at a moment's notice and just watch the flows, you have a team that wants to just jump on it when it's 1,200, great. But 1,000 to 1,300 is a great first level. 800 to 1,500 isn't bad either. Just a little harder. Okay, moving on. Isaac, I've been enjoying these videos. I'm old to rafting, but fairly new to rowing. My experiences with my uncle's boat, he uses pins and clips and has his blade permanently at 45 degrees. That makes no sense. If 45 degrees relative to what? Are you saying that his blade is, instead of being vertical, it's 45 degrees? When you're running pins and clips, you want that blade vertical. When it's just sitting there splayed out, you want a vertical. If it's 45 degrees, that's not a good idea. Now, I actually, the other day, I jumped in a boat, somebody else's boat, to row a part of a river I was on, and they had their blade twisted a little bit on purpose. I thought it was an accident. I almost fixed it. And at camp, I asked her, I go, why is do you know your blade's twisted? And she's like, yeah, I have a bad shoulder. I do that to sort of help that for blade from catching too much water. So I think some people have twisted their blade a little bit to help with their shoulders. I wouldn't recommend it. I would just learn how to like push the blades down. So what you want to do when you're running pins and clips, if you catch water, just push your hands down. They'll pull the blades up every time, right? Those of you that run spinnies, you can't do that because your oar might be spun and you can't push your hand down. It's catching the power side. But with pins and clips, you always have the blades, at the right angle. They drop down easy and they come out easy. And so I would recommend 90 degrees for that alone. So I was wondering if you talk about blade angle. Yeah. So with pins and clips, I would just go 90 degrees. I don't think I'd do 45 unless you have some extenuating circumstance. See, even then I wouldn't do it. That's just my opinion though. All right. My blades are twisted a tiny bit because I need to tighten my oar rights. Yeah. I mean, they get accidentally twisted all the time. Sometimes they just get twisted a little bit. Yep. Okay. Next question. Maybe do a segment on the fastest way to run the Clackamas Cat Slalom race. Question I have, are you pulling backwards all the way to the first gate or do you turn? Okay, first of all, does this count as a segment right now if I just do an hour, or do you want me to do a whole video about it? Second of all, I'm not sure I want to give away my secrets. Like I've won pretty much every cat and oarboat slalom race for the past 10 years. I'm not sure I want to give away my secrets, but I'll see how I feel. Hopefully, yeah. I will start and see how much I want to give away. Are you pulling backwards all the way to the first gate? Yes. You need. So for those of you that don't know, the cat slalom course, it's like almost a mile of like class 2, 3, where you just row down for like almost a mile, and then you have to go through 7 gates, 8 gates, and every gate is a 50-second penalty, 50-second penalty if you miss it, and a 5-second penalty if you touch it. So the key to the slaloms is you have to hit every gate. You have to hit the gates. If you don't hit a gate, you're not even in the competition. Unless, somehow a gate's really hard and somebody misses it. But if you hit all the gates, you have to hit all the gates. So you can't wear yourself out. But then it's time. So you want to go as fast as you can down there. And the fastest way to get there is pulling. Or do you turn and push you're faster pulling through the rapids. I pull through all those rapids. So you have to know the course. I mean, you have to, I have the first mile memorized, so I don't have to barely even look back. I'm just pulling as hard as I can all the way down. Do you stop paddling as you go through the gate so your oars don't hit? So I pull all the way down to the first gate. I give myself a little bit of time before the first gate to just catch my breath and make sure I'm calm before I enter the first gate. And the gate 1 to 2 to 3 is the hardest part. It's typically 2 to 3. So you want to hit 1, 2, and 3. You don't want to take a chance of missing 2 or 3, obviously. So I turn around, when I pull. When I hear the announcer, hear the audience, I turn around. Now I'm forwards pretty much the whole time. And do you turn and push through some? Sorry, do you turn? I don't. When I go through the gates, if I hit an oar on a gate, I don't care that much. It's 5 seconds, not a big deal. Everybody's doing it. It is almost impossible to put an entire oar boat through those gates without hitting an oar on a gate. So I'm more worried about making the gate. I'm 100% focused on me making the gate and the next gate. So once I'm through like gate 2, once I know I'm going to go through gate 2, all I'm thinking about is getting through gate 3. So like I'm going to start changing my momentum, and as I'm going through gate 2, I'm already thinking about the move to make gate 3. And as I'm going through gate 3, I'm already thinking about gate 4. And so I don't slow down. I don't worry about hitting the oars. I want to make all the gates. Okay. Will your boat fit underneath the gates? Your boat probably won't, but your oars might. Yeah, your boat fit underneath the gates. It depends. Sometimes it depends on the gate. Some gates are a little lower than others. Depends. Are you in a hole? I don't worry about hitting the gates at all. You want to hit the gates. Everybody's going to hit the gates a few times, probably. I do my best not to. I don't try to hit the gates, but I do my best not to. But yeah, your boat sometimes might go into the gates. Any other tips you want to share? I mean, it's gear. It's gear. There's three things: gear, fitness, and boating ability. You want light boats. Pins and clips are better because you can just yard on the oars. You don't have to like twist. You don't have to spin. Pins and clips, longer oars are better, more power. So you have to have good oar management with longer oars and lightweight everything. You have to be physically fit. Like it's a physical fitness test. So, if you're not physically fit, if somebody's more physically fit than you, they have a big advantage. And then your boating ability, because it's not getting. So the first bit's physical fitness, getting to the gates, and then can you make all these gates? And especially the turn from 2 back to 3, that's a really tough one. And so can you make that? Can you do that when you're tired? So keep all your seat. I just told you pretty much all gear, fitness, and boating ability. Yeah. I would love, actually, as I think about it, like some challenges out there. I would love to see people that are, if somebody beat me, I would train way harder the next year. Like I need motivation. So if I knew somebody who was coming for the title, I would train way harder, and I would love to train harder. I'd love a reason to. So I'd love it if I knew there was some good competition. Okay, here we go. Drop stitch. This is the last question, then we're done. Thoughts on drop stitch flooring in a raft, for example, Star. Are there any disadvantages to it in a whitewater environment? All right, let me bring up the Star rafts. So for those of you who don't know, Star made rafts for a long time, and NRS bought them a few years ago. And let's pull them up. It's just like a sub brand of NRS. And there's some huge advantages to drop stitch. One is that it's flat. It's a floor that's flat. When I-beam floors have the little ridges up and down, and that's what I'm used to. You just stand on a flat surface. It's super cool. 2, they're fairly inexpensive to make, I think. It's fairly inexpensive to make, and they're replaceable. If I tear a floor, if I put a hole in a floor on a wing, it's going to be an expensive fix. If you need a new floor on the Star, it's not going to be that expensive. And 3, they're pretty affordable. Like the way the Star does the boats, they're just, it depends on the boat, but especially this Outlaw series, they're just throwing drop stitch in here. Like it's just a thing that inflates. It's like a separate piece. And so if you need to replace that, it's really easy. Whereas this one looks like the floor is attached. Replacing the floor is hard. This one, it's really easy to change. So I think there's a lot of advantages to drop stitch floors. That being said, I don't really like them because I'm used to I-beams. And in my experience, I-beam floors track better, which means if I point the boat, it's going to want to go that direction. And I like that. I like boats that track. I think most people like boats that track. The drop stitch floor doesn't always track. Now, I've been told that I haven't done this. If you let some air out of the drop stitch floor, it will track better. So maybe there's a solution, but I would say there's advantages and disadvantages. And if that's the boat you want at the price you want, then just do it. Yeah, just do it. Let's see. They're nice to stand on. Yeah, they're flat. It's just a flat surface. Yeah. Yep. Oh, they're probably pretty because they don't track as well. That's a trade-off. Boats are either, if they don't track, they're maneuverable. And I bet with the flat floor, it spins really easy. So I bet it spins really nice. And for fishing, a flat floor is probably great. So I think those are thoughts. Any disadvantages? It probably doesn't perform as good. And when I say that, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm making that up. I don't even know why it doesn't perform as good. I'm just assuming it doesn't perform as good because all the high performing boats have I-beam floors. And so I don't have an actual reason or is reason the right word? I don't have any proof I just don't think that they perform as well. But that's me saying that with no proof or even valid reason for saying that. So I'd go for it. Don't think it hung up more? Maybe. I don't know. I bet if your drop stitch is really tight, I bet it does hang up easily. I would personally not run my drop stitches that tight. Yep. That's what John's saying. Yeah, that could be a thing. Not as pliable. Yeah, that makes sense. They don't roll over rocks really well. So maybe like a low water middle fork, you don't want the drop stitch. But you can also, they'll be pliable if you let some air out. So I know there are outfitters in the middle fork that run Moravias with drop stitch and they do great. So they're pliable when you let some air out. So I'd say they fine. Moravias aren't high performing. They're good boats. I'm not sure. That's an interesting question. Depends on our definition of performing, I guess. When I think of a really historically in the past, a bomber boat, the most bomber boat there is, Moravia comes to mind. If I think of the highest performing boat historically, I'm thinking of like a Sotar or a Wing. Or an Avon historically. Yeah, that's just my opinion. But Moravia's, I don't know if the drop stitch floor performs as well as the I-beam floor. That's just my experience, having used all these boats and talked to people. That's just my guess. But I'm wrong all the time, and I could very well be wrong about this. So my statement after fumbling over my words for the past minute is I don't think Moravias are as high performing, but the bomberness makes up for it. They're like solid boats, and they look really great. They're a great looking boat, and I don't know. I don't want to. Yeah, I don't have any. It's sort of like talking about the drop stitch floor. I just think it's worse, but I don't know for sure. I don't think Moravias perform as well as Sotars or Wings, but I haven't run them side by side, so I don't have a good answer. Okay, well, that was a great ending of the show. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for submitting questions. I'm going to be on the road traveling for the next 3 weeks, so I'm going to fit shows in when I can. If you submit questions at whitewaterguidebook.com, if we have 2 or 3 questions, we'll make a show, and I'll try to do it on the regular Tuesday schedule, but because I'm traveling, it could be off. And then when I get back like late September, we'll try to do more creative, fun shows. It'll be wintertime. My schedule gets easier. I'm going to try to have more guests and do more things when things slow down. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching, and see you next time.